Let's get some more reaction now to President Trump's contentious meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Edward Fishman is the senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and a former State Department official. He is also author of Choke Points, American Power in the Age of Economic Warfare, which is just out this week. And maybe no better time for this kind of a book and to talk with you, Edward, about this. Maybe bring us up to speed on just what kind of image this particular president and administration want to portray to the rest of the world. It is very much front and center about Ukraine, but this is also a signal to our allies and enemies about how America is going to conduct its policy in the coming months.
I think that's exactly right. Look, Volodymyr Zelensky came to the White House today hoping that he could persuade Trump that it was not only in America's national security interest to support Ukraine, but also in its economic interest. That's why he came with this critical minerals deal to sign. The fact that this ended so badly, with Trump saying that he had kicked Zelensky out of the White House. I'll say, I've been involved in U.S. foreign policy for almost 2 decades. I have never seen anything like that. And so what it suggests to me, Dom, is whether this is all sort of part of a political theater, right? Whether this is, in fact, kind of a setup. Perhaps Trump and J.D. Vance knew that they were going to treat Zelensky in this way. Maybe this is their way of trying to pressure Zelensky. But if you're, from the perspective of the rest of the world, the Europeans, they cannot trust that the United States is going to stand by Ukraine for 1 day longer. And so I think the Europeans' feet really is to the fire right now to either put up or shut up when it comes to backing Ukraine, both economically and militarily.
Is there I mean, these are all theories and maybe speculation, again, at this point, because we don't know exactly what the president is thinking. But how much of that theater that you alluded to is going to be meant to lay the groundwork for just how he will treat pretty much what seems to be no more multilateral deals, but bilateral deals on individual bases with individual parties, and they're going to use this as a precedent center for how negotiations will proceed, economically or otherwise, militarily, anything like that. Is that a fair assessment in your mind?
I do think so. And I think one thing that's important, though, to pull out here, Dom, though, is we have seen Trump so far in his month back in the White House be very aggressive in terms of bullying countries when they're not doing what he wants. Let's look, though, at who the targets have been. It's been Ukraine, which is a country that's been being invaded for the last 3 years. It's been Colombia. It's been Canada. It's been Mexico. The countries you haven't seen kind of get this treatment by Trump are Russia or China. It's other sort of big powers, countries that you traditionally view as America's adversaries. And so I do think we have to start asking ourselves, is Trump really trying to do a fundamental realignment in U.S. foreign policy in which he's trying to get the U.S. on the side of the Chinas and Russias in the world in opposition to the Ukraines, the Europes, and even the Canadas and Mexicos?
So, Edward, you watch this play out now, and the market's trying to think through sort of the real politic of it. What is the real politic? What are the takeaways into the weekend from this? And again, I don't even mean, how Europe thinks about, it's a lot. I mean, like, very pragmatically speaking.
Yeah. Look, I think that there's a real significant chance that Trump will go for what Putin has been trying to do. So Putin's strategy for the last several weeks has been to persuade Trump that the U.S. and Russia should cut a bilateral deal that basically sidelines the Ukraine issue, normalizes U.S.-Russian relations, and potentially lifts American sanctions on Russia without even taking into account the war in Ukraine. After today's meeting, I think the odds of that have gone up. So what does that mean for the markets? It means that crude oil could potentially start coming onto the market from Russia. It means that you could see more exports of liquefied natural gas from Russia. That will have a bearish perspective on prices. I think that, in a kind of an ironic way, will hurt Trump's goal, his stated goal of American energy dominance, which is to have American shale producers really be the dominant players in the world. I think if you're seeing the markets being flooded with Russian oil and natural gas, in some ways that could actually undercut Trump's American energy dominance goal.